Well, let me ask you this. You have pledged that if you are elected, that you plan to raise taxes on corporations and also high net individuals. Given the pandemic, how quickly do you think you would move on that as you try to balance growing the economy, getting people back into jobs with paying for all of the services that we are paying for now as a result of the pandemic?
Look, my tax policy is based on a simple proposition. We should stop rewarding wealth and start rewarding work a little bit. Let's raise the capital gains tax for people making over $1 million a year to ordinary income. Let's reverse the Trump tax cut. Imagine we have that, if we had that $2 trillion now as we go into, God willing, recovery, which is a long way away as I see it right now, which they use to buy back hundreds of billions of dollars of stock, tens of billions of dollars, boost wages for the workers. Did they do that? No. Let's use the money to invest in the middle class. You know, almost 40 million Americans have filed for unemployment. And you know what the White House is proposing? More tax cuts for corporate America. I've got a novel idea. How about some relief for Main Street? And listen, the entire recovery program, the entire stimulus has been passed, several $1 trillion. What was it done for? To keep people employed. To keep people employed. And what's the president done? Fired inspector generals. The vast majority of the money's gone to the very wealthy and the major corporations. Not a single penny's gone to the Main Street Fund that was set up. Not one penny in the last 3 months. And the PPP, what happens? People are getting locked out. And so, look, I mean, we didn't advertise. That's not what it was advertised to do. And the American people are getting a little frustrated. They're getting extremely frustrated. And, you know, the president's response to all this has cost lives and it's cost jobs. And the way to fix the economy is get public health response correct and structure economy. What we're doing now is upside down. The bigger you are, the faster you get the money. The smaller you are, you don't get the money. And taxes are to build back a better economy, boost it, create a middle class and create jobs, paycheck protection program, health care, confidence to come back. Hey, look, I just think he's got this all backwards, but he doesn't seem to care much about it.
Well, let me just ask you, though, about a couple of things that you mentioned and unpack some of this, just on the tax front first. And I understand that you want to raise taxes. The question is how quickly you do that in the midst of in the midst of this pandemic and in the midst of trying to get the economy to recover.
Nobody making under $400,000 would have their taxes raised, period. Bingo. Let's get people back to work. Let's get them to work. Now, look, here's the deal.
What about corporations?
Tell me how many people are investing that tax break they had in new jobs. Give me your numbers, man. Come on. Let's get real. Well, people are hurting.
Well, I absolutely understand that. I'm trying to just understand. I'm trying to understand as you're trying to balance these issues, especially when it comes to corporate taxes, how quickly you move on that, given that we want to get jobs and get people back to work.
Okay, let me ask you the rhetorical question. What jobs have they created if we give them more of a tax cut? The president's talking about a greater tax cut for corporations. You tell me what you think, how many jobs that will create in the next 6 months. You're the expert, you guys. I'm not being a wise guy. I'm not trying to be like Trump. I'm not criticizing you. But really, think about it. Look, people need to get back to work. And the idea they're already talking about, you know, the president's phrase, what is it? We have time to wait. I mean, they're not even going out and helping, making sure that the states have the money to keep their firefighters on the job, to keep the cops on the job, teachers on the job, all of those things that do create income and do generate growth. What are we doing?
Now, anyone who personally knows me or watches my channel enough, they know that I'm a very harsh critic of Joe Biden, not only as a Bernie Sanders voter, but also as a progressive. But this is how Biden could win the election. This is how Democrats win. We don't win by outflanking Republicans on the right and punching them right like Biden has recently done about China, you know, the pandemic. About he's too light on China, instead of that's not what we should be doing. But when he punches the Republicans from the left, that's how you win elections. FDR didn't win in 1932 by saying, "Oh, President Hoover, he doesn't do enough laissez-faire capitalism. I'm gonna do it better." In fact, that was one of the things FDR criticized the Republicans for doing. He said, "Let me." In fact, I'll play for you right now.
Let me warn the nation against the smooth evasion that says, of course we believe these things. We believe in social security. We believe in work for the unemployed. We believe in saving homes. Cross our hearts and hope to die. We believe in all these things. But we do not like the way the present administration is doing them. Just turn them over to us. We will do all of them. We will do more of them. We will do them better. And most important of all, the doing of them will not cost anybody anything.
You see, FDR, he was anti-Wall Street. He was anti-rich fuck. He campaigned to the left. He went, they are unanimous in their hate, the rich are unanimous in their hatred for me, and I welcome their hatred. And he won 4 times. That's why the Republicans proposed term limits, because if we don't put term limits, people like FDR are just going to keep winning and we'll never get the White House ever again. When you campaign from the left, you win. JFK, he didn't win because he said, "Oh, let's just continue the status quo from Eisenhower like Nixon will." No, he said, "Let us bring about change. I don't believe in big government. I believe in effective governmental action. It is time to move forward with the new frontier." And as much as I like to slam Johnson for Vietnam and being basically the Democratic version of Trump, he was like, we are going to change this nation with civil rights and a war on poverty." And Carter, I guess he was like, we're not going to have the corruption of the Nixon administration and Ford. Bill Clinton, to be fair, was like, "Oh, the president is caught in a grip of a failed economic theory," and he won. Now just like Obama, he governed as a conservative, with crap like Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and DOMA. But Bill Clinton raised taxes on the rich. He is the first president since 1969. Bill Clinton was the first president since 1969 to have a budget surplus. And then Bush Jr. came back with tax cuts for rich, and then wiped out the surplus and brought back the deficit. And Trump is making it worse. Barack Obama raised taxes on the rich a little bit, and it actually reduced the deficit from $1 trillion to $600 trillion. And if Bill Clinton's taxes for the rich had been kept, we would have wiped out our national debt in 2006. But like the whole insanity thing, trying something over and over and over again. "Oh, just tax cuts for the rich. It'll work this time. We promise." But they don't actually believe it. Republicans don't actually believe in tax cuts for the rich will work. They don't care. They just want the money. But Joe Biden, I know he's not going to be a progressive if he becomes president, but if he continues to do interviews like this, where he punches Trump from the left, he might win. I'm not saying he's definitely going to win. I still stand by what I have said earlier, that if everything was the way it was in 2019, Joe Biden would lose. Trump was, unless Bernie Sanders got the nomination, against any other, Trump was on the way to re-election. If he was against anyone besides Bernie Sanders. But this coronavirus happened, and I wouldn't wish this upon anyone. I don't wish coronavirus on anyone, even to defeat Trump. But there's nothing I can do about what's happened. What's happened has happened, And Joe Biden now has a better chance of winning. And if he continues to do this, he will. Of course, like Obama, he'll probably get into office and then govern as a centrist. Nothing to do with that. He's too bought by the establishment. But credit where credit is due. I know I've been slamming him a lot, but this is a good thing. Just like him saying that we need to freeze rent payments. Credit where credit is due. I'm not endorsing Joe Biden. I probably won't vote for him because probably when his corporate donors realize, hey, whoa, wait, you're talking about raising taxes on us, and we support you. Whoa, you got to rein it in, Joe Biden. You got to quit talking about that. In fact, you need to talk about cutting taxes for us. Just say the sun was in your eye, just like Jimmy Carter did when he criticized George Bush. Just say the sun was in your eye. Just retract it. Say you misspoke. Just, I don't know. But very, very impressive, Mr. Biden, Mr. Vice President. Now, I've said what I've said. What is required for me to vote for him, to either support Medicare for all, which he won't, or appoint Bernie or a progressive like Nia Turner as VP, which he won't. I just know that he's going to appoint Amy Klobuchar, but another centrist hack. But, and like I said, credit where credit is due. As I was editing, I came up with an idea. Every time that Joe Biden says or does something that is progressive-ish or progressive-like or something like that, basically says something that progressives support, I will upload a video giving him credit for it that says, "Oh, Biden progressive moment," a web series, a YouTube series, Biden progressive moment. Anyway, stay awesome, stay progressive, and may the force be with you.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.